Hey guys, I'm here with the wedge wizard himself, Roger Cleveland, and we've got a really cool product here. It's making great traction already down under. The new Jaws wedges from Callaway. Rog, tell us the story.
Well, first of all, the name came from the new groove that we put in, for which you wouldn't believe it, but it does increase spin. So there are some rules, RNA rules, and USGA, and so we've come even closer to that edge, and they are looking, But what we have done is not only do we have 4 micros in between each groove, we have now a little bit more aggressive groove, and what that means is that in the area of 40 to 60 yards where you really don't typically have as much spin as you want, you have about 400 to 600 more RPMs, which means a tighter, a little lower trajectory but more spin. Really, you can flight the ball and control your distances, and that's what this area is all about.
They look fantastic. I believe there's a new one to the collection.
Yeah, there is, and so we have a fitting system here, and so when you're steep, depending upon your technique and your conditions are rather firm down there.
Very much so.
And so, but if your technique is on the shallow side, which means that you can, actually create more speed, like with the rotation, a little Jason Day-ish, would be, I think, a pretty ideal technique, where you don't have a lot of set. A lot of amateurs think they want to miniaturize their big swing for a little shot, and it's actually a different technique altogether, and it's very easy to learn, and you should take some lessons, go practice. Now, a lot of people don't like to practice because they have this technique, so you want to change it, and everybody can do it. Everybody can't hit it 300 yards, but they can have a short game that's unbelievable with technique, a little practice, and some great wedges. So what this is, it is a wide sole, which is very forgiving, but we reduce the bounce on it. It still has 10 degrees, a little 7 in the heel and 8 in it, so it's a compound radius, but it has a nice tight radius front to back, so very forgiving, especially in firm, tight surrounds. So
almost the ideal wedge for Australians, you could say.
Well, yes, and with proper technique when you get it. You can create more speed, you can actually get the ball a little bit higher out of bunkers, which you do have a few bunkers down there. I watched the President's Cup, and what a place that is.
Pretty special part of the world, and I know I definitely need a set of these when I get in that place. But
the other thing, let me just mention, we have, you see a black shaft here, we have a graphite shaft for men, okay? There's no upcharge on it. It's called a Catalyst by True Temper, wonderful. It's 80 grams, so if you do have graphite shafts in your irons, okay, it's one thing to go to a 115, which is our standard steel shaft, but sometimes if you're not so strong, you need a little bit more speed out of a bunker. It's nice. And then we have a special ladies, which is a 60-gram shaft, and they love it.
Tour validation, obviously important. This has been very, very popular on tour already.
Yep, absolutely.
How many players are we talking? Are we talking a big bunch?
Well, most of our staff for sure, and a few others, and we just introduced it out there, so it's relatively new. Wedges are really personal items. It's like your own knife and fork. I mean, you get used to it, So it takes a little time, but they love the spin, they love the feel. The other thing, we've changed the CG, or the mass properties, the weight location, so the feel is enhanced even over the MD4. Wonderful.
Lastly, number one tip for someone who's in the market for a new wedge, what's one mistake they make when they're going to buy a new wedge, and what do you recommend they need to do?
Well, you should get fit, depending upon your technique. If you're at a course where there's a professional, they would be happy to do it, and they're very good at that. You can actually do it in a store by having somebody watch and see if you have a lot of wrist set. I think the number one thing you should really, the most lofted wedge, which is important. The reason why I'm saying that, it's more critical like 50 yards and in. 50 yards and out or 60 yards and out, you start to hit the ball first, so it's less critical because you're swinging so hard at it with the loft. So I'd say get fit. That's the most critical thing.
Well, there you have it from the man himself. If you're in the market for a new set of wedges this year, make sure you give the new Jaws from Callaway. What is it again?
Jaws.
Jaws.
Yeah.